Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have another installment of new stamps. Now what? This is a new series I'm starting on my YouTube channel to answer that question. You get those stamps that you were so excited to have, and then you get them home, and then you think, now what? What I'm going to do is start with a stamp set I've never used before. And this time I promise that's true. The first one I did, I apparently had used them. Middle-aged brain. No idea at all. This is a longer process video where I am going to record my audio live. I am going to edit this a little bit, but it's going to be a little longer. So if you want to hang in, great. If you're more interested in shorter videos, check out other clips on my channel. Most of them are much shorter than this, but we're going to go ahead and get right into the project. And will it turn out to be a hot mess? Hard to say. It could. I don't know going in. I am going to use some stamps I have used before for my sentiment, but the main stamp on this project, never touched it. Never even taken it out of the package. So, shall we? Now, the first time I did this video series, I had my little face in a circle. I'm going to keep it. And every now and then I'm going to look up at the camera and smile like this. Here is the stamp set that I've never used. I received this as part of the new release from Simon Says Stamp. This is the folk art background. Let's take it out of the package, shall we? Haven't even taken it out of the package. So I'm going to get that and throw that on my floor here in my craft/dining room. Also, the nails. This is why I had to film this video, because I gave myself a French manicure. And if you're interested in what polishes I used, I'll link them below the video because I'm all about that life. But here is this gorgeous stamp. Now, I do like cling stamps, and sometimes when I get them, I take a look at something like this and I think, there's no way I'm going to color this in. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really, like, I've seen some beautiful samples made from this where people have colored them in and they look fantastic, and that is a little bit, that's one of those crafty checks that my body isn't quite ready to cash. Does that make sense? So today, I'm going to have some fun with this, but I'm not going to paint. I am going to show you what I've pulled out loosely to use. Number one, some Distress Oxides. Now, someone said to me the other day, how come you never use Distress Oxides? I do. It's just, do you know how you get into sort of that, what is it? You know, you get into your habits. And I have been in this habit of using just my regular Distress ink. So today, I thought I'm going to go with something that I know will work. And what is that? That is the classic Emboss Resist, which I actually did in the last video, and I will link to that as well. But when you are starting out with a new stamp set, sometimes you want to do something that you know will work. For me, I know Distress or Emboss Resist works. Do you know what I mean? It will work for me. If it works for me, it works for you. And so I'm going to start really simply. These are my base supplies. I'm also going to be using, I'm going to show you this real quick, some blender brushes. Now these blender brushes with the colored handles are from Simon Says Stamp. These are the ones that I use for my oxides. Now, of course, I don't have one for every single color, but I keep brushes for oxides and I keep brushes for dye inks. That way I don't have to wash them as often. Does that make sense? I have my cute little container here from the Etsy shop of Make It by Marco. Love those. So these are the basics. And of course, I've got some panel of Neenah Solar White Classic Crest 110 pound. And I want to show you the stamps too. Okay, I have used these little guys here, but I'm just going to make one sentiment. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe a birthday card. Maybe yeah, you know what? Birthday cards or a with sympathy. I don't know. One or the other. I do have the coordinating dies and I will be using those. I just didn't have any brand new sentiments that I hadn't used. So that is where we are starting today. And now let's get into it. New stamps? Now what? I just had to say that again. I didn't really need to. Okay, thank you for indulging me. Back down to the table. All right, I've brought my Misty. This is my Hero Arts branded Misty. That's why it has the black rulers. And I am going to take the magnet out and take out my little mouse pad insert. Why? Why do I do this? Because this is my favorite way to use a cling stamp. I find that if I put the stamp itself, peel off the backer, right? Pop it right into the Misty, press that down. I'm going to press my paper into the stamp and not the reverse, if that makes sense. So I've got a piece of cardstock and I trimmed this to be 6 by 6, knowing full well I'm going to trim this down. And then I'm going to take my purple tape, and also I'm going to link to a video where I shared this tip. I have a little tip series here, and I want you to see this, how I do this. All right, we're going to take our purple tape. I just double it back on itself, place that right down onto the cardstock. Then what I'm going to do, pick up the Misty Door, pick up that stamp, right? And then the paper picks up here. I tend to want to, just push it down, make sure it's really nice here, good to go. So next, I'm going to get my, let's see if I can find this here, my embossing magic pad, which I keep in this little dish on my work surface, just so that it collects all the powder and everything's, not too messy. But I'm going to run this over the surface of my cardstock to remove all of the static and the oil. Because you never know. I could be very oily right now. I have no idea. I don't think that I am, but never say never. Okay, got my embossing ink. This is the Simon Says Stamp Clear. I use this or I use Versamark. My Versamark pad is really dry right now, and this Simon pad is really wonderfully juicy. Can't believe I just said wonderfully juicy in a video, but I did. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. One thing with these videos recording live, I realize that I talk too much and there can be spaces for silence. And now might be one of them. Thank you. I'm inking this up really well. Okay. Beautiful. I'm just going to do this once. I'm not going to do it more than once because I think this is good. I'm going to pick up my door. Right, press this down, and then I'm going to bring my Swiffer cloth in. I clean with it, but I also use it so that my hands can glide nicely over the Misty Door, because I don't like doing this, and I'll tell you why. It's my wrists. It hurts my wrists. I have sort of I don't have carpal tunnel, but I have wrists that are old designer wrists because I'm a little older. And I have been doing this for a long time. And so anything that I can do to, oh, there goes the coffee. The coffee is now finished its cycle. Thank you. Anytime that I can do something that will cause less pain on my wrists, that's what I'm doing. So I give it a good push. And again, I really like that you can put all your weight into it. This is almost like a strength training. It's not really cardio. It's kind of strength training. But I'm going to push all my weight in here like that. Probably good. That was probably overkill. See, I had shared my first video and someone said, really beautiful card, but come on, 40 minutes for that? And I didn't have the heart to say, well, I didn't have the heart to say it directly, but it's like, dude, that's the point of this video. It's a live build. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, I'm going to slide this off, and I don't need this tape, so I'm going to just set this all aside, and I'm going to try to see here, you know what, if I get a little of the pattern, that's fine. But I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to take my magnet. I'm going to pop this in the, well, I don't really have a place for it, do I? Yes, I do. There we go. I'll clean it all later. What are you going to do? Okay, next, time to add my powder. I tend to reach for the Alabaster powder. This is what Christina Warner uses, and my goal in life is to be more like Christina. So if it's good enough for Christina, it's good enough for me. And I actually really do like this powder. So Brutus, Monroe, I don't know what your secret is, but it's pretty good. All right, I'm shaking it on, right? We're just shaking it on, coating it. Gosh, this is getting a little, yeah, it's getting a little down there. I've had this though for a year and a half. Maybe more. It's amazing how long embossing powder works. There's a little thread there. I hope that doesn't stay. So what I'm going to do is just let that set for a second. And now let it slide off. Tap, tap, tap. Do the little tapping. Oh, can you see the pattern? Isn't that beautiful? Love it. I'm going to gently set that here. I'm going to funnel this back in carefully. There's a lot of powder on there. And that is another reason why the Swiffer comes in handy, because there is now powder everywhere. You can't really see it. I can, trust me. So what I'm going to do is pick that up. So stamping and cleanup, that's a magical tool. I get these also, I refill them at Costco. Well, you know what I mean. So there is my little stamp, and I think, you know what, it looked like a little of it maybe didn't get impressed, but that's okay because we are not starting over, right? We're on this. So next I'm going to bring my heat tool in, get it nice and hot, and then we'll continue. Whew, that took a while. Now what I like to do is I like to just get it in the light, and I don't know if you're going to see, just to make sure that I get all of it, because sometimes I miss a spot. And now I can see, like, there's a little area that I actually missed a little, but that's okay. I think that's okay, right? Okay. So next up, we are going to start the ink blending. Okay, zoomed in a little bit here, and I just realized as I was looking at these colors, that is not the order that I necessarily wanted to go in. You know what? I'm going to go grab an orange, so hold on a second. Okay, that's better. I wanted to have carved pumpkin in there too, because you know me, I like the rainbow. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our worn lipstick. Just going to load this brush up, but I'm going to tap it off just a little because I don't really, actually I don't know what was on this before. And I'm not going to, well, you know what? I'm going to grab a piece of paper. All I'm going to do is just start blending on. Let's work from the bottom up. Okay, that's it. All I am doing, and I've got to keep in mind one thing. I am going to be cutting this panel down. So I want to make sure that I have enough of this pink in here that it is going to show up in my cut. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put you to the side. Let's get the orange, bring that in. Okay, gonna load up pumpkin. Here's the thing with Distress Oxides, I just forget about them, which I don't mean to, you know, make them feel bad, but I really do. I just kind of forget about them. And then I get into my phase where I'm just doing, you know, the regular inks, which I love. I think part of it too is because I still consider myself learning about ink. You know, this isn't necessarily, this hasn't been my skill set. Now, this might be surprising to some of you, but you know, I started scrapbooking in 2003, and I always kept things very clean and very simple. That's just how I've always done it, right? Well, again, once I figured out that I wasn't Heidi Swapp or Becky Higgins or you know, you name it, I tried on a lot of styles. That said, oh, I think I'm gonna have to pull my hair back. It's driving me crazy. That said, I didn't do this kind of stuff because I think I just had a couple experiences that were kind of negative. Actually, hold on here. I'm gonna grab some purple tape for my fingers so that I don't leave a mark on my paper. Do you know that trick, right? Put some purple tape on and hold it down so you don't get the fingerprints. But I think I tried a few things and they turned out to be proverbial hot messes. And every time I would stamp, it would look horrible. So I just stayed away from this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, I think you do because I just said it and I think a lot of you might speak English. So you do know what I'm saying. But now that I feel like I have a whole new perspective, right, on, let's put that here, on crafty things, because I'm actually doing things that I never did. I never did this kind of thing. So, but again, if I have a stamp like this, there's no way I'm going to start out with something really complicated and really hard. No, I'm going to start out with something that I might have some success with. Do you know what I'm saying? Again, yes, I do, because I speak English. I want to ask you, have you ever seen We're the Millers? That line just reminds me of Scotty P. And if you know who Scotty P is, because you love that movie, you'll absolutely know when he finishes everything with, you know what I'm saying? And then Jason Sudeikis says, well, I speak English, so yes, I do. Thank you. Oh, that's my stomach. I hope it's not picking up on the mic. Now, I have this panel, right? That's really pretty. very simple. Take a paper towel, and now we're just going to wipe away ink to reveal that super pretty folk art pattern. And look at all that ink that comes off. That's quite a bit. So you want to wipe it away, because where that embossing ink has been melted, it is smooth and shiny. It will not take that ink, and therefore you have this beautiful blended panel, right? Oh, I love that. It's still magic to me every time. And now I can look at this and think, well, do I want a little more pink somewhere? Is that enough? Because I am probably going to try to take, is that pink? Yeah, that's pink. I'm going to try to take more of the pink part of it, because I really do love pink. And again, you can go back over. Oh, there's the fingerprint. Do you see that? Where'd my tape go? Oh, there it is. It is amazing how it will pick up your fingerprints. So again, be mindful. Let's get a little more Citron in there, because that is also just a magical color. I don't know. Tim Holtz, if you're ever watching one of these videos, I just want to thank you for the Twisted Citron, because it is a magical unicorn of color. All right, that just bumped it a little bit more. So that is something that anyone can do, right? It's so much easier to just blend on some color, work in rainbow order, or you could just stick with 3 colors, right? 1, 2, 3 colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel, which is called analogous color. I will also link a video if you want to learn more about that, because I have a video for you. But, got hair on my, oh, there's hair everywhere. But these colors go together. That panel looks fine. It looks beautiful. You don't even really notice where I missed, there's not a lot of powder there. That's okay, right? This is now ready for the next step, which is going to be die cutting. Well, actually, should we flick some water on? Let's do it. Like that. Wait, is anything even coming out? Sure it is. There we go. You can kind of start to see it, right? Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I was joking with a friend of mine, actually, Simon Hurley. Do you know Simon? I've never met him in person, but he is a spitfire, and he's a go-getter, that kid. Well, that young man. And we have been joking about, wouldn't it be funny to do an ASMR video collaboration about crafts? And you got to admit, I don't know, it could be kind of cool. See the little dollops? Very simple, right? Nothing too crazy. I am going to set this aside though, and I'm going to let it dry, and we're going to move on to the next step. But the reason I think it would be, can you imagine? Okay, I'm going to do this ASMR style. So now we are going to let this dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Namaste. Probably not going to do that anytime soon. That would be a whole different kettle of fish. Okay. We're going to move on, set this aside to dry, and I'll work on the sentiment next. Before I stamp my sentiment, I want to show you something, because this is what I do quite often. I have 2 cardstock rings. Here's one that I made with some Gina K, and here's one that I made with Simon Says Stamp cardstock. I have cut little tag swatches, and I'll actually link to the Hero Arts tag set. I actually have a cute tag set as well. If you want to check that out, the link will be below so that you can make a swatch ring. This is one of the most useful tools I own, because when it's time to make a sentiment panel, right, I can flip through and think, or when it's time to either do a card base or a sentiment, I can think to myself, do I want to do something that's really subtle? You know what I mean? Like if I went right in the center of the card, what if I stamped on white cards or on colored cardstock with a white ink? That could be kind of cute. Wild Dandelion. Let's see what I have in Simon. Or what if I did more of like a, did the old classic green apple? Although you know what? The key lime is even brighter. And that can be kind of cute. I really like picking up white from this little stamped image as well. You know what I'm saying? So I might do a couple. Let's see. I think the key lime, oh, now the magnet's sticking. I think the key lime could be very cool, but I highly recommend creating your own swatch ring for, the cardstocks that you have, because this is very, very helpful. Of course, I could do it in black or gray. I could do it in gray as well. Now let me see. Do I have a Simon Fogg sample on here? I should. Oh, this is cardstock that I absolutely love because I could do a card base of fog and that would give it a really nice neutral. Or I could do a card base. Let's see here. Do I have my craft in here? I only have a Gina K craft right now. That could be really cute too, you know, where you take your card base and you turn that craft. Although I do like the white, so I'm probably going to stick with that. So I'm going to grab a scrap of paper. I think I'm going to just go with, I want to go with key lime. Oh, it's so good, but so is the wild dandelion in the center. This is where the decisions have to be made. I'll grab a couple scraps. I'll fade out for a second and I'll be right back for some more stamping. All right, I've got two samples. I've got both this key lime and the wild dandelion. Now here's what, I'm going to bring this back in so I can just kind of get, this is another thing you can do too. You gotta kind of visualize, like, what is it going to look like? I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't want it to be clashy. I'm torn. Do I just go black? If I go black, then I know I'm going to have this beautiful popped image, but I feel like, you know, it's a fine line between clever and stupid. Can you tell me the name of the movie that's from? If you can, I'm going to give you some bonus points. Drop it in the comments below. It's a fine line between clever and stupid. I know one of you know what it is, so you tell me. I think we're going to go this route, though. So I am going to, again, set this aside to dry. Still drying. Not going to die cut it yet. Now I have 4 Misties. Someone asked me, Cathy, why do you have so many Misties? Well, part of it is because Hero Art sent me the black ones, and I really like them. And also because, you know, when you work in the craft industry, you can come up with a reason to do anything. So I think I'm going to make this into Happy Birthday. Let me see what the Happy Birthday die looks like. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do a happy birthday card because there's, you know, there's always a need for the birthday, right? Birthdays, yeah. But yes, I have multiple Misties, and that's fine. It's it's a little excessive, but I want to stress again, this tool made what I am doing right now possible for me. I don't think if I were relying on acrylic blocks, I also call them bricks. If I had to just do that, I don't think I would have stuck with stamping because I don't know if it's just a dexterity thing. I just don't really have the ability to stamp in the free range manner. At least that's what I call it. Okay. Get my little stamp in here. Are we filming? We are filming. Sometimes I have to look up because I'm using a software. Oh, you know what? Did I get a good impression? I'm going to hit it again. And right here, you are seeing why the Misty is so brilliant because, again, who could do that? Who would be capable of doing that on their own, freehand? No one. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's someone. Someone out there probably holds a record, but you know what I'm saying. Sprinkling that on. See, I could totally do ASMR crafts, but I don't know if my voice would be soothing enough. All right, let's see how that looks. Is that good? Oh, that's nice. It's very elegant. I think I might hit it one more time, though, just to make sure everything is where it needs to be. All right. Oh, careful now, Cath. Don't get too crazy. All right. I'm gonna go ahead, pop this back in. I think this is going to be a very simple card project when it's done. You know, that's the cool thing about the Emboss Resist and a big background stamp. It looks fancier than it is, because I think you know how simple it is. All right, let's get our heat tool. And that, my friends, is our little sentiment. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fade out. I'm going to cut a template and get this lined up for die cutting. So I'll be right back. All right, see how this little piece of gray has kind of framed it out? It's not, well, it's not perfect, but it's going to be better than if I cut this myself. So take a look at that. See that? Ooh, the light's really weird all of a sudden. We've got a partly cloudy day, and that always spells doom for video filming because I film in my dining room. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop this in here, and it will drop right into the opening. And you can feel it, right? It locks in. This isn't just me showing off my nail polish. I'm mesmerized by my own skill. Really did that all by myself. You don't even know how proud I am, except now that you do, because I just told you. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my die cut machine, get a nice little cut for my sentiment, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which will be awesome. I promise. All right, let's get it lined up. I don't know if it's going to be perfect or not, and you know what? This is why I kind of like this video format, because I'm not perfect. And I know there are card projects sometimes that you might see that you just feel intimidated from the start. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want you to feel intimidated. I'm going to go back again just because sometimes, oh, that sound is just horrible. I think Mama needs to get some WD-40 pronto. But let's set this down and let's see how well this cut. Did it cut out? I think that, yeah, being perfect is, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now that is not perfect. That is not a perfect cut. I think I had it a little bit off, but you still get the idea, right? You can see that? Yeah. You know what I could have done with this too? I could have just cut a banner. And actually, oh my goodness, as I'm thinking out loud to myself, I'm thinking, Cathy, why didn't you just do a banner? Well, that said, let's move on to cutting out the panel. I may revisit that. So I'm going to get my favorite dies, the Waffle Flower A2 layers. Oh, look, we're very zoomed in. And I'm going to take one out. I actually have the complete set. The back side is the perfecting set. The front side is the main set. And it basically means I have every single die in their rectangle series for A2. Now here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to do that. Right, because I like to get a little bit of the rainbows on both sides. Okay, I'm gonna pop that in like that. And take this, and we're just gonna line it up like that and run it through. The reason I love this die set is that it really does give me, oh, here goes the click, there we go. It gives me perfect panels, and I do like the panels to be cut nicely and straight. You don't have to use your paper cutter to get it cut down, and investment in a good series of nested dies is never a bad thing. Now I'm going to save this. I should do something with it, so I'm going to set that off to the side, and now I have my pretty little panel, and here's where I have to decide. Is that cute? Well, actually, you know what? That is kind of cute. All right, let's move on to getting the card base prepped, and we can start making the card. So I'm going to go ahead and score it at 5.5. This is going to be top folding. As I said, the USA 2. Do I have any extra? No, I don't. I'll take a little piece of purple tape. So here's what I like to do. I'm going to get this off to the side here. Pop that on the back of my wrist. I'm going to go ahead and fold this down. I'm going to take this bone folder because I like that this has this little flat end and it doesn't, like there's no sheen on it. This is a little bit messed up, but someone said to grind it, and then someone sent me an email that said, do not grind it. You're not supposed to breathe that stuff in. I'm just going to order another one. I just haven't gotten around to it. Okay, taping the card base closed. And I'm going to tell you something. As I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, you know, how cute this is going to be on the card, this is, I don't know. I'm going to stamp another option, and I'm going to bring it in, and then we're going to discuss in the comments below if I made the right call. I have an idea, and I want to share it with you first. So let me stamp that. I don't need to do it on camera because I'm going to do the exact same process. I'll be right back. All right, friends. I decided to do a dark one too, because if you look at that, but then you look at that, that's the winner. I think it's the winner, and because the reason is because it has contrast. But I'm torn, right? I like both of them, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to put some foam squares on the back, just the thin foam squares, which I have right here, and I'll do the same over here. Let's see here. I love the thin foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesives because, and here's the big caveat, they don't have too much loft. They have just the right amount of loft. And now I'm going to take just a little guy here and just go cut a little strip cut a little strip, try not to poke myself. Where is my craft pick? Okay, and then I'll pick this up. Oop, come on now. And then I'll put that here to give that also the lift that it needs. And I'll do the same thing on the black side here. Get that off here. So that sentiment has enough support. Now, the next thing I'll do, I'm just going to grab a little bit of foam tape here, my big roll. Sometimes I'll use craft foam for this, and sometimes I'm just going to do this, right? I'm just going to take a piece, like that, cut it, stick that in the center. You always want to support the center. If you're popping up, you don't have to do the full foam tape, right? I just do it because, well, I have the Big Mama roll, so that is why. Okay, that's fine too. But if you're going to pop up, just make sure that you have support in the center. I actually just watched a video from Christina Werner where she talked about no saggy centers. So it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But it's there. And then for lining up too, if you are able to stand up and look down, great. If not, take your card, right, like this, and then push it as far away from you as possible. Like I could stretch my arms way far out. That will, well, because I have freakishly long arms, so that's not true. But if you're not able to stand and look down, you can do that, and it will allow you to see what you're doing and have a little more clearance. Now I don't know where my green guy. Oh, here he is. All right, here's my green guy. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pop this up, get these guys off the back. I just like to see all four sides at once, and right now you're probably getting a great view of my chest in the little circle, but I'm just going to gently line that up, and I think that looks nice. All right, pressing that down, and now here's the moment of truth. I do want to put this right in the center. I think center is what is called for in this particular thing. And I'm not going to use a sub-sentiment. I could, but in the sake of time, I mean, oh, things are sticking to me. You know, there are other sentiments in here. So happy birthday, enjoy the day. Now that might be, actually, that would be cute in black. Does that make sense? Take that guy, happy birthday. Okay, I'm not doing a sub-sentiment though, but what about that? I just think that has pop. You know, the black is really providing a nice contrast, and I think that's what we're gonna do. But again, let me know in the comments below, do you think I should have gone with this? Because this is a little more subtle. Or I could even go down, gosh, I'm really torn. I'm gonna make my decision when I fade back in. I had to pull my hair back because I was on fire. All right, you ready? This isn't just to show off how fancy my nails look, but this is what I decided to do. So I've got the thin foam adhesive on the back of Happy Birthday, popped that into place, and I just took 5 sequins and placed them, that's for a little shine, right? Nothing too crazy. And I think this is really nice. So let's recap, shall we? The design that is happening. Oh, and here are my sequins. These are from Pretty Pink Posh. Okay, so the design, here's what we've got. A common margin framing out my card project. I have a video for common margins, which I'm gonna pop a card up for that too, because this whole idea of framing your content on your cards with a bit of white space or open space is a really great way to bring some unity and cohesiveness to the design. Then we have our rainbow blend, right? We're just following the rainbow. Let's follow the rainbow. How can you go wrong with the rainbow? Got the rainbow. I've got a repetition of an odd number of sequins. There are 5 here. I also have a video about sequins. It's crazy. But overall, the sentiment works so much better than this one would have worked because this has so much more contrast. And I think contrast in design is important. It makes it a little more energized and a little more exciting. And you know what? I think it turned out pretty darn cute, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I hope this has been inspiring for you to take a look at those cling stamps that maybe you purchased in that moment of, I must have this, and now what do I do with it? Again, my advice is always to keep it simple. You know, start out with something that you know you can do. For me, that is a simple emboss resist. So thanks so much for watching. I will be back again with another installment of new stamps. Now what? Also, don't forget to subscribe, and if you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching today. That was pretty good. I know, it's cute. It's cute. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.